Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Purdue Overwatch broadcast. I'm Oracle. I'm joined by.
Hi, this is Riyuu back for this is now week I believe 4
Mhm.
of NECC for Purdue Overwatch. This week we're back with casting for more of Purdue's varsity team, going against I believe University of Nebraska Omaha, or UNO for short,
UNO.
as we've been joking in the background. So going into our fourth week here, new season, couple New Balance changes, but we're now going to be seeing a match at such a high bracket that who knows how much things are even going to change.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely a lot of changes, but not a lot of big changes to the things that varsity's been running. We still see the Zarya, we still see the Reaper, we still see even, Wooyoung's still strong. We see all these characters. They've been tweaked, they've been changed, but still generally the broad strokes are there. So when you've especially had so little time to scrim with this new season, I feel like we're going to see Purdue Varsity just tried and true. We've been stomping so far, haven't lost a set. Let's just keep it going. Let's roll with that momentum.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you mentioned, our varsity team has been doing extremely well. I believe our last 3 weeks of matches have all been 3-0s. Very proud of them. Kudos to them. We'll see if they can keep this streak going. I hope so.
Varsity's been looking invincible, like no games dropped, and maybe today will be a change from that, but
come on. It would sure be entertaining, to see at least like a tougher matchup.
Absolutely.
But we hope for the best for them. We'll see what's to come here as our teams are kind of getting set up in the background here. Going back to kind of the changes that have been made this season. I personally at least don't expect there to be that much changed up, especially with how our varsity teams played in the past. In the past, at least on this channel, when our team played in week 1, they are just very used to just playing very fast front to back, with the Zarya, the Reaper, the Kiri or Ana, and just like going in nonstop. And I feel like that hasn't really changed.
Yeah,
so.
Honestly, it's rare to see in such a pretty high level of Overwatch to see, people opt to play slower ever. You don't want to use that downtime. You want to cap the point as fast as possible. You want to contest as soon as possible. So I definitely feel like even if the characters might be different, the two might be a little different, generally that same idea is there where we want to fight as fast as possible. We want to win matches as fast as possible because that's kind of just Overwatch. That's just how it works at this level.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Even on the more dive-heavy maps as well, which is always fun to see. We've seen our team playing on Gibraltar at the very least on this channel, and even then they opt for like the Diva Curie kind of like fast dives. So that'll be fun to see. I'm also curious how much the enemy team comes in with any potential reads here on our players. As the seasons go on, one thing that's always interesting to see is the potential kind of reads, and there's more data out there for these teams to be able to look back and forth and see, okay, it seems like they're a more brawl heavy team. It seems like they like to play this, and this, and ban this.
For sure.
So, we'll see how they play around that, if anything.
Yeah, and especially when you see Purdue going 3-0, maybe soon to be 4-0, just snowballing with his momentum set after set after set. Eventually, you're going to have to recognize, hey, this is a threatening team. So this is one of the teams that you want to bring your A game for. So Purdue might not feel like they need to prepare heavily for their matches, but the enemies might, and that's kind of the double-edged sword of being such a strong team, is that now everyone wants to come for the crown.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We don't get me wrong, we still do a hell of a lot of preparation in the background, but we'll see exactly how things pan out. I don't know, much going in about this team we're going to be facing off. This should be exciting. I'm expecting things to start up on Lijiang again.
I don't know the last set I've watched that didn't start on Lijiang.
I know it's such a snowball heavy. It's such a quick and easy map for people to play, and especially because you mentioned people like playing fast. Lijiang is just so prone to snowballing.
Right. I think Lijiang is one of the more iconic Overwatch matches in general. I feel like, when I think of an Overwatch map, Lijiang is one of the first ones to come to my mind because it's so played. I feel like it's a very solid map. There's not to say that there's not other maps of that game mode that aren't also good. Like I feel like we could see a Samoa, we could see a Ilios, maybe if we're feeling
first
special.
Map will be interesting, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes it's good, if you've prepared on a map that the enemy team hasn't necessarily over prepared on, to kind of bring that out as you're kind of get that one win at the start of the series and get yourself set up well. But generally speaking, I'd be shocked if we didn't go to Lijiang.
Oh yeah. I feel like it is just like a really good gauge of like the pace that the enemy team plays on. So it's just like a good litmus test of like, all right, what exactly are we dealing with here at one of the most brawl heavy maps, definitely at least in control, like there's others like Nepal. I feel like people tend to play brawl heavy. Samoa can be hit or miss, even though I feel like there's a lot more. You see like Ramatra brawl, people pull out the Hammond, but things can change.
It looks like we get to see the record here of Uno versus Purdue. Apparently, Uno has lost to Purdue Gold 3-0 on round 1. Am I reading that right?
Yeah. So, it seems like University of Nebraska has 1-2 in this series overall is what it seems like over there.
Yeah.
So, and lost to Purdue Gold, meaning that...
now they're up against even bigger fish here.
It's a tough team. No, this will be very exciting. Like we previously on this channel, we actually saw this happen last time where I'm forgetting the school off the top of my head, but we saw them go against Varsity and then go against Gold, and it did end up in very different outcomes on both sides. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that, if anything, makes me think even more so that they might have studied up on who they might be going against, seeing that it's another Purdue team. They might have been like, oh no, we need to do something. We need to look into what they have.
For sure. And you got to keep in mind, even if one team is supposed to be just the quote-unquote superior team, they're still different teams, Even there's going to be those changes in character preferences and map preferences that might play into Uno's strengths more. That, maybe Purdue Gold was running these things that Uno just did not have answers for. And so maybe, even being a better team, Varsity might not have those matchups that Uno's not ready for. It's hard to say until we get into it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I will say, though, that our varsity team, I feel like it has definitely shown that they can be very flexible. So, Uno will have a lot cut out for them. I don't want to knock anyone down. Again, we haven't seen them play yet, so things could go any which way. Again, they have a lot of data from which to go off of and potentially like counterplay. They could have practiced a lot into playing into like, we saw Varsity pull out a lot of like Zarya Reaper. Again, on like the dive heavy maps, we saw the Diva. So potentially looking to either just ban those or having practice specifically against those. That's one of my favorite things I see teams do, I feel like, is specifically scrim a team and ask them, hey, can you specifically play this comp, please, so we can practice playing against it? Going into it now, it seems like map picks and bans are being done. We are going to Lijiang, and bans are going to be Mercy and Tracer.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was reading that right. Ban Mercy.
Mercy and Tracer. Mercy, like...
I can't imagine which of the two teams opted to ban Mercy. Maybe it was the sort of thing where one of the teams wanted to just leave the meta on the table. They just wanted to leave all options, basically passing your ban. Or, maybe they had some secret intel that there was some terrifying top 1 Mercy gameplay on the enemy team. I really don't know. A Mercy ban is such an interesting thing to see from either team.
Yeah, I will say last week, if you watched with us here on the channel, they did ban Pharah because Pharah is very often played here on Gardens, which we're on right now, and it seems like we're going for the map reload there real quick, but potentially going for a Sigma brawl.
Interesting.
That might change here now that we are on a different map here, or on a different round of Lijiang, but the Sigma brawl is a very different and interesting choice. Personally, I thought that Zarya was still very viable, even though there were some balance changes made. Zarya wasn't touched that much, I don't think, but maybe, something's changed. Varsity's done some practice on the Sigma, or,
Yeah, maybe it's just the sort of thing where round one, very first fight of the series, you want a surprise factor.
Sure,
You just want to start off. You're not prepared for, like, who's prepared for Sigma right now, So
No, yeah.
it's maybe it's just a question of, are you ready for this? And maybe that's what we're looking at, or maybe it's just they don't believe in the Zarya, but they do believe in the Sig. It's curious to see. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out here.
Yeah, one thing I'm very curious about is this is definitely going to be very interesting on this first push here as we count down to the map starting out for us. Both of our teams leaving spawn, exiting with the classic TP strat. Toodle probably going to be swapping back to that Reaper here in just a second, with us playing the Sojourn as well as our second DPS. But no, it seems like they're going to be sticking with the Symmetra here. Purdue Varsity going into the Hazard comp, which is going to be going into wanting to poke out anyone squishy that they can find, getting Toodle really low there, but no, getting that pick there, CVG Neeb on the Hazard, not really able to catch anyone out there. The Genji wanting to go in still from Uno Black, but not getting anyone. They're just able to hold that space there. Sigma kind of serving that role that Zarya did of just being an immovable wall.
Just executing that gameplay so quickly, the Sim TP and the Lucio speed enabling you to get in the position you want. Now you have a Sig Shield, you have a Sig Absorb, and Sig Rock, just making it so hard to walk.
Absolutely. Going in here with the TP to try and poke out the Hazard, make sure they don't go in on the Kiriko there on Purdue Varsity. Going in on the Hazard, punishing him real nice and fast before he can get any picks. All Purdue Varsity needs to do is make sure their players stay alive long enough for that Sim Beam to charge up.
Yeah, it's been such an effective win condition for Purdue Varsity already. I guess that Sigma pick is really paying off, kind of being a slower paced tank, enabling Symmetra to build her charge so the team can play around it. It's such an interesting thing to see, but it sure is working.
Definitely, yeah. And I notice Alistair, the Kiriko, sitting there in the back line looking to get off some cheeky picks there if possible. So the swap to the Ramatra here from Uno Black, but will not do much there. Unfortunately, the Sim Beam will only get more and more charge off of a Ramatra blocking in your face. Understandably so, though. Potentially wanting to go in a little faster there with the Ramatra, but it did not really play off there. Now making the swap to the Junkrat because they need to just get those picks off. They haven't been able to pick off anyone from Purdue Varsity just yet.
It's been such an interesting game being played where Purdue Varsity is kind of just playing at such a pace that I don't know, they can't find Uno can't find a way in, they can't find a pick, they can't find a way to stabilize.
Going in here with the Symmetra wall to try and make sure they do not push in here with any ults from Uno Black, potentially not knowing that they don't have any ults to come out with, getting two quick picks there. CVG Neeb on the supports, and another one on the Junkrat, trying to climb up the wall there to save his life to no avail.
Oh my goodness. Not a single support ult has been built on the side of Uno Black either.
No.
You do not see the sound wave nor the Kitsune
Neeb going
rush.
in with the overclock in their spawn. They do not care, but then responding in return, the ambition, I want to respect that, but in response, the the ult picking off 2 to 3 there. Alistair punishing it, but the round is over.
That was just such a good display from Purdue Varsity. We're questioning the Sigma, being like, hey, where's the Zarya? We want to see Zarya, but apparently Sigma's just as effective if you win a round without the enemy team building a single support ultimate. So hopefully that's the kind of momentum we can see Purdue carry in here. Uno Black has a lot of questions they need to answer now, looking kind of unsure in their comp, bringing out a Junkrat, switching out their tank.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm Uno Black, I'm definitely looking to change things a little more, and it does look like we're seeing a switch to Winston, trying to change up the pace, trying to change up the game plan.
Yeah, maybe looking to bunker down here. Maybe they'll keep the Symmetra as well. Whether or not they'll keep it after TPing out of the spawn, we will see. Going in here. But no, making the swap back to the Junkrat. They're so insistent they need to get these picks here. Trying to go for the classic boop off the bridge there, Astronaut. I respect it. It's a classic move, but unfortunately getting punished there. They did get the pick in response, though, on Uno Black's Lucio as well. And then going on to finish for 2 more picks there, one of which being the Winston. So it seems like Purdue Varsity will be taking this point here at the start of this round.
Yeah, what's interesting here is not only how strong the team that Purdue Varsity is as a whole is, but also the individual elements have been so effective.
CVG Neeb there going in with the already aggressive play at the beginning of the round, unfortunately getting picked off, so Purdue Varsity will be down 1 at the beginning of this fight. Toodle, though, being able to set up with the high charge Symmetra Beam, but no, getting punished there with the barrage of damage coming in from, Junkrat spam and Lucio spam. Maybe they do have something cooked up on their hands. But no, Akasta here being able to hold his position in and around the point and get off picks while, Uno Black is kind of almost scrambling to get onto the point and hold a coherent fight. They really wanted to go in there on that pick that they got on Neeb very early on, and it seems like that just split them up.
I just want to point out, I believe that Sacred was booped off the map by Astronaut upon getting that pick on the Sojourn. So they're playing in such a way that even when you get an advantage, we're right there to take it away.
Oh, getting two booped off the map there. Weezer fan from Uno Black able to do what Astronaut unfortunately could not on the earlier side, and then getting two more.
Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, Weezer fan is not going down without a fight. They're seeing their team, no matter the game state, kind of just getting shut down by Purdue. He said, all right, hold this boob, hold this dive. I am taking point for at least
guys.
a fight.
Yep, wanting to execute on, like you said, Astronaut booping off the Winston there, which unfortunately I wasn't able to catch, but then going, hold my beer, let me go get this one real quick. Now going in with the TP to make sure that does not happen again. Purdue Varsity going in on the other side of the point here and wanting to just bunker down with the comp that they have with them. Going in with the overclock from CVG Need, being able to catch out that Kiriko. Now down 2 picks, 3 picks here, Uno Black. Purdue will be able to hold this point, flip it back to their favor here.
Oh my goodness.
CVG Need there with 3 confirmed kills at the end of that fight.
Yeah,
that's what we like to see.
And I'd like to point out now there's Purdue Varsity holding
with the Kitsune rush real quick with where he's at on the map. Looks like he just was hungry for more. The fight ended, sorry to cut you off, but over there he just decided they were going to keep the fight going. That just like we did last map, we're going to swap and get into their base again. The cover from the spawn isn't enough. They had to use both the Lucio ult and the Symmetra wall.
I mean,
CVG Neeb getting 2 picks though, nonetheless, with them trying to push out from the spawn. This, I really don't want to be rude here, but this is a little bit of bullying.
Yeah, I mean, you want to apologize for cutting me off, but they're fighting in their spawn. Is there really a chance for this action to stop when we're fighting literally at their home doors?
Exactly. No. Pushing out here with the Primal Rage, trying to get the Symmetra here at 1 HP. Toodle goes down, but not without the turrets left on the point by him. Getting a pick onto the Lucio here. It seems like it'll be really, really rough here with just how scattered this fight was. The fight ending with an effortless crescendo there from Purdue Varsity.
Yeah.
Taking 2-0 on Lijiang there, going 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it really is fitting. Just the conductor that Sigma was there holding the space, putting up the shield. Oh, we see a play of the game from the enemy Junkrat, though.
From
I
the
would not have
Junkrat.
expected that.
Hey, again, I understand, at least I like to understand the process of, oh boy.
Oh my
Going
goodness.
in there, wanting to, because it did seem like they were getting a lot of people really low on Purdue Varsity side. So they were just like, okay, what can we do to get just a little bit more of that burst damage, just catch out people a little bit more, because it seemed like, Toodle on the Symmetra and Alistair on the Kyrie were being really slick. So how can we catch them out? Screw it, Junkrat.
Yeah, for sure. Purdue was taking a lot of positions that I do not think Uno was ready for. I think positioning a Kiriko on a flank 5 meters outside your spawn door is not something they were looking for. Sojourn popping overclock when you just woke up and went on your morning walk, definitely not something you're looking for. So I feel like you're gonna have to try things that you also not necessarily the enemy team wouldn't be expecting. Junkrat definitely not a typical pick, but. Yeah.
It can work out, especially with just how many narrow corridors and spaces and choke points there are in Lijiang. So again, I understand it completely. We do have a lot of dominant forces here on Purdue Varsity with some insane mechanics. Neeb on the Sojourn, Alistair on the Kiriko. They have, Adcasta on the Sigma, able to just toss out that consistent spam damage and just stand there with his shield. I don't know if and when his shield ever went down. And just able to just claim their space.
Very unrelenting pressure from Purdue, that's for sure. Like once they took their space, there was just a constant barrage of rail shots, of Sigma bullets, of Sigma rocks, just kind of wreaking havoc on the entirety of Uno. Even when you're back in your spawn, even when you're trying to regroup, even when you're trying to get back to your spawn, you're getting chased, you're getting hunted down, you're never safe. Purdue definitely felt like they owned Lijiang. It definitely felt like it was their map to win.
Yeah, so now going into the second map here with Suravasa and the ban on the Wuyang. and the Cassidy,
Cass.
which is very interesting. So let's see. I wish, I don't know who's banning what in this case with the information that we're getting. But yeah, no, very, very interesting bans here of potentially expecting them to play the Wuyang. Potentially just because of how front to back maybe things would be ended up, things would end up being played on Suravasa, maybe just wanting to prevent things from the wave or something like coming out, wanting to prevent more of that mindset of why they would have picked something like Junkrat to just get a lot of burst damage in there.
Definitely. And I definitely would have expected a Wrecking Ball choice if Cassidy was banned, and we do see Alistair.
They're alrighty. It seems like Purdue Varsity might be choosing to have a little bit of fun.
I do believe we see Astronaut on Lifeweaver, a character that Astronaut definitely loves playing, but not that you typically see.
Oh yeah, most people here on kind of their main roles, at least Astronaut is at the very least, and even Toodle swapping their DPS roles, and Abcasta, our main tank, swapping to the Ana, and Alistair with the Wrecking Ball. This will be interesting. Playing into the Junker Queen here, a very popular comp normally played on Suravasa and on Flashpoint in general with the Tracer and the Sojourn. Going in here, Purdue Varsity is definitely going to be playing very, very scattered, so this Junker Queen will need to have to hit a very strong knife here on somebody that they can catch out. Alistair able to capitalize on the Chaos, go in for the Brig that was stationary in the background, but also the Lucio, who's potentially maybe trying to save the Brig there, and then going in on the Sojourn. It just seems like they're creating so much chaos. And in just all of this, even we're not able to see it extremely well with just how much things are divided, but Purdue able to capture this point here on Suravasa.
Yeah, it almost feels as though Purdue is opting to play a game of deathmatch. They've proven that they have such strong individual players, so now they're just exploring Suravasa to take whatever fights they can because they feel like they're going to win them.
Absolutely, yeah. No, going in here now, the Junker Queen maybe will be trying to hunt down for someone more stationary. The Ana sitting there on the high ground thanks to the pedal given by Astronaut. Very smart there, given how Abcasta is the only stationary player really on Purdue Varsity. Now it seems like everyone's just having to play a little bit of their own game there. Toodle shutting down the Tracer there from Uno Black in his little 1v1. Now going in on this Junker Queen, who's trying her best there to just hold her space and capitalize on the one person that she can see, being the, the Venture. But yeah, no, again, in the chaos, like you said, Purdue Varsity's players are just so strong independently that they're just able to hold their 1v1s and win their own game. Alistair now hanging there, with the mines, ready to drop them at any moment, but just waiting for that correct opportunity. Going down to 99% here as the first point gets capped on Suravasa, continuing this this display of mayhem here. I don't know what else to really call it as the teams kind of slowly make their way over to the next point here. Not even really moving in unison. It's crazy. Oh, catching out finally that Venture on Uno Black's side.
Nano-boosted Lifeweaver I see?
I believe so. You're not wrong. It seems like Purdue Varsity might be getting a little too big for their britches, maybe, in all the chaos, So, Uno Black obviously still wanting to show a very strong showing here, just like, nah, we're not going to be disrespected like that. You get a little too crazy. This is still a game of coordinated Overwatch. You will get punished.
For sure. I think, definitely Purdue Varsity's trying to get a little bit silly here. Let's be real. A little bit might even that's, but Uno is still a team. They have still practiced. So if you're going to be running these ridiculous teams that I wouldn't even run in quick play, we're gonna have a conversation here. We're gonna shut down that nano boosted Lifeweaver and we're gonna take a fight.
Absolutely. Alistair finally using the mines there, getting the pick on the Junker Queen there, which is huge, and then getting the Sojourn, who is separated off there after, despite her using her overclock. That did not mean anything there. Toodle getting the last of the picks here, and they're able to flip the point.
Yeah, and now we see a pretty powerful ult economy here for Purdue. While Uno does have that beat from Lucio, definitely a very powerful force. We also have both the tree and the
here going in the back, trying to get a quick pick, take that 1v1 duel with the Tracer, as one is meant to do in the spawn, no less, not caring, having the means, pulling out the beat though, so very, very good attempt there from CVG Neve. He gives his life, but honestly, probably for a good cause, getting the only ult that Uno Black had out of there before the fight even properly began. Now going in here, trying to get picks here during the chaos, seeing the Tracer in the back line, probably Uno Black just scattered a little bit. So now we're back to this sense of chaos a little bit, trying to punish Alistair, who, despite being a wrecking ball, has been getting 2 to 3 picks a fight. So they want to be able to at least push him out, if not punish him completely. The Junker Queen's still scrambling to be able to catch individual picks here, or at least single somebody out as best as she can. Uno Black is still playing a very, very mobile comp here, swapping also the Brig to the Kiriko, making them even more mobile than they were. Neeb being relentless still, making sure he's getting picks on those squishies, and they'll get the second point here on Suravasa, 2-0. Purdue Varsity going in with 3 ults here, not knowing that CVG Neeb has the Pulse Bomb. He doesn't need it.
Oh my goodness.
I thought he was going to go for the stick for the Kiriko, but no, he decided he was just going to go clip her instead, and they take her down again before the fight even begins. Neeb is just existing in their backline, rent-free.
It almost looks like we see Neeb window shopping
gosh.
here. Who do I want to stick today?
Yup, going down to 7 HP, but no, getting the Mega there real quick. The team Uno Black is occasionally turning around for him, trying their best. Alistair there making sure the point is still held strong with the mines there. CVG Neeb finally using the Pulse Bomb on the enemy Tracer there, as well as Purdue's able to cap and hold the point strong. Uno Black going in here now with the Rampage in their back pocket now, though. Tootle taking out the Sojourn. Even before the fight even began.
There's not been a break in the action. It's just
No.
been go, go, go.
Absolutely, and making sure just not letting them set up, which is a very, very crucial strategy here that we've seen Purdue Varsity play at again and again, just preventing this reorganization. Neeb once again getting a pick in the backline on that Sojourn without her looking, Neeb being very clean with those clips there, getting them down extremely low, so even if he hasn't been able to finish them off, someone surely has been. Getting Tootle down very, very low there. Sacred on the Junker Queen, being sure to try and set up on the point here, getting 2-3 on Purdue Varsity with that Rampage, despite them using the Tree of Life there to try and give them the sustain. Adcasta on the Ana finally going down once. Trying to hold the point as strong as they can here, but the Lifeweaver Tree of Life did give them a lot of sustain here. Uno Black coming back with the with the beat to be able to hold the sustain of their own as well. So they're still able to kind of hold a strong presence here, making that swap onto the ball themselves. They decide, we're going to play into the chaos as well, and we're just going to go in and have this chaotic death brawl that you're trying to propose to us. So they're able to hold their pressure onto the point. No one's really gone down here in a minute. Tootle getting really, really low here, but getting pulled out there by Astronaut on the Lifeweaver, who's been playing really, really strong defense.
Oh.
And before the fight can even properly end, I don't want to call it a C9. I want to just call it in the midst of the chaos.
Yeah.
Purdue Varsity ended up taking that point 3-0.
I really don't feel like I've ever seen such a chaotic game of Overwatch. I definitely feel like chaos is the key word there. It didn't feel like there was a team fight, It didn't feel like there was a fight conducted as a whole team. It felt like there was just constant 1v1s, constant picks, constant, whatever. The Wrecking Ball, the Lucio, the Genji, just all controlling different parts of the map, all trying to take their own fights, and it was so destructive for Uno. They were definitely ready for more of a, probably looking for more of a brawl. That's why they're running the Junker Queen. We're looking to fight you 5-on-5, mano-a-mano, and that is just not how it played out. That Wrecking Ball was such a destructive force. That Tracer was such a destructive force, not really letting people play in the positions they want to. It was, we might joke and say that they were being silly, and they were, but at the same time, they were not letting Uno play the game they want to play.
Absolutely, yeah, and I feel like my face is still frozen in a little bit of shock. That was wild. I don't think either of us were expecting that at all.
I don't think I've ever seen Lifeweaver be nano boosted. I don't even think I've heard of Lifeweaver being nano boosted, and that didn't work out.
Hey,
but
Lifeweaver's primary fire, or his damage, is
very powerful.
Often slept on, in my opinion. So they went, Astronaut, go have some fun. You're going in trying to play defense, still being the one player on the team playing his main role. They were like, you need to go be silly there too. So they wanted to maybe enable that a little bit, let's say. But honestly, I feel like, if there's anything to take away from this, it is just how, I feel like this is even more of just like a power play or a flex from Purdue Varsity that, we're so good as our own individual players that we can even swap roles and we'll hold our own.
All right.
And going into the next map here real quick, there seems to be the pick of Riyuu with bans on Hazard and Torbjorn.
And we see Purdue is the one banning the Torbjorn.
Purdue was the one who banned Torbjorn.
I get it. I don't like turrets. You know what? Those things suck. You know, I know Torb's not necessarily a meta threat right now. That's something it's difficult to call him. But you know what?
You know what? This also
quality
shows
of life,
me.
man.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. But what this also shows me, I think, is that Purdue is still there. They haven't completely thrown in the towel and are just being silly with it. What's the one thing that would suck the most against a very highly mobile split comp?
Real.
A stationary turret that's real annoying to take down.
Real annoying. That thing has.
It just stays
some
up,
health.
and no matter what, you just have to have someone constantly on it shooting it. You know, and it usually, as the Ana player in my team, I don't want to brag, but it usually is me.
Yeah, hey, I mean, talk your shit.
So yeah, going into Riyuu here, it seems like we might be making some switches still. At the very least, Alistair and Abcasta seem to have shook hands on swapping their roles for the time being, but Neeb and Toodle back on their respective DPS roles, with Neeb playing the Widowmaker and Toodle on the Genji. You know, we saw some very clean Widowmaker gameplay in week 1 from Purdue Varsity on a Gibraltar. And it seems like, you know, we're going to be seeing the Widow duel here with Uno Black playing a Widow of their own.
Yeah, and we do see same roles as last time with Alistair stolen Wrecking Ball. You know, the Wrecking Ball was good. I did not know Alistair had a Wrecking Ball in his pockets, but there we have it.
You know, he clearly does. Not only that, but he would get like 2 to 3 picks a fight. So we'll see how this plays out on Riyuu. It is still a very valid pick here. Neeb getting poked out very quickly. That seems like they were very ready for the potential Widowmaker. You know, going in here with the Wrecking Ball, he's able to very quickly push people out of that high ground for his team. So like I said, it is a very viable pick here. You know, being able to actually push off, I'm pretty sure most people on that high ground there, but they are very mobile, Uno Black, and they're able to kind of hold back that.
Oh my goodness.
Or at least they're fighting now for the high ground there as best as they can. Toodle being relentless, trying to go after the Ana, getting her to 1 HP, but then getting slept there, unfortunately for him, getting picked off there. Very good play by Uno Black's Ana there, as they're able to hold this high ground. You know, that's the one thing that Uno Black now has on their sleeve, is they have, you know, they're playing into the chaos a little bit.
Wow, I mean, there we go. We're seeing so many trades and so many kills. I thought the fight was over for Purdue Varsity, and they came back and they took out that D.Va mech and took out the D.Va inside, and then just took the fight back for themselves. I mean, such a good regroup, such a good continuous effort from them.
Absolutely. I know. Now going in here, like you said, you know, the fights are not entirely starting or stopping here, as, you know, team members are just making sure to try and take individual space as much as they can. Alistair here taking out the Ana here, who's their only wall in being able to, at the very least, stand near the point here.
It looks at this point, Alistair's playing more Tony Hawk Pro Skater than Overwatch, just flying over that building as his team takes a fight with the D.Va.
A little bit. I mean, to be honest, though, that's kind of what Wrecking Ball does best. Is he's either, you know, booping people up to be able to hand over to his hit scan, or he's just creating distraction, being like, hey, look at me. I have at least 1,000 effective HP. The Widow there getting pinned into a corner by the mines there that were just used by Alistair. You know, and now things are kind of at like a weird slow point. You know, again, Uno Black just not being able to set up anymore. Exactly what Purdue Varsity strategy has been from the start. Astronaut getting a little bit silly there, getting caught into a corner there, unfortunately, by the D.Va. But
oh my goodness.
CVG Neeb saying, no thank you, you're getting distracted. I can take advantage of this. Getting 3. And then getting punished by the D.Va bomb. The back and forth exchange of messages here, back and forth by these teams, is honestly very hilarious, but very entertaining to watch. You know, there's still this, you know, thought of, you cannot disrespect us like this. You cannot think we have our guard completely down here. Toodle going in with the blade to try and get this little conglomeration of people in this corner here on Uno Black. finishing off 2 here. And it seems like, no matter what, fights haven't been very cleanly started and stopped here, but no matter what, it just seems like Purdue Varsity is able to just maintain that momentum and that space.
Even with Uno putting up as much of a fight as they have, even getting a few picks, even getting a few first picks, even going up in numbers, it's just not enough as Purdue just keeps fighting and they do not give up space no matter what. We see a little Lucio duel going on here.
It doesn't even matter if it's away from the point. The Lucio v. Lucio duel on the rooftops here, going to Astronaut at the end there. I was going to say ending in a little bit of stalemate, but I guess I was wrong. Going in here with the May Blizzard here, since they're about to cap the point here on second checkpoint on Rialto. But no, Tootle able to get 2 picks there despite the Blizzard. They were able to wait it out just long enough, and it seems like Uno Black was a little bit too scattered there to be able to capitalize on any potential freezes, even though I don't even think anyone got frozen there on Purdue Varsity. They were able to scatter there successfully.
Yeah, Alistair's been, as a side note, Alistair's been so hungry for these funny boops off the map. I've seen Alistair stalking these spots, trying to see.
Absolutely, and he doesn't even need them half the time. He's able to just roll through, and like I said earlier, he has about 1,000 effective HP. What's he gonna do about that?
Yeah,
everyone's just able to have fun. No one's getting punished. It's actually crazy, they're able to even throw their guard down for just a little bit, and then people will turn around. I see the nano there on the Genji, on Tootle there. Tootle going in, being able to charge his blade there if possible. It seems like he's at 94%. He might get punished here, though, unfortunately, before he's able to get it.
Yeah,
Karsten now backing up, seeing how they're now in a little bit of a dangerous position, potentially even anticipating this nano blade here from Uno Black, and now that it is out, not really any threat posed here to Karsten on the Ana anymore for a little bit.
Yeah, both nanos on the Genji's kind of going to waste, just not really finding any kills, just kind of using them to explore the map. Yeah, I have damage resistance. Let me take a little exploration of Rialto here.
Absolutely, yeah. Now the Widow duel happening here, peeking between itty-bitty corners, as they absolutely know how much Neeb is a threat here, so they're trying to pick him out early. The Mines going in aggressively, getting the pick on the Lucio. The Ana 1v1 duel happening as well, with Abcasta being the victor here, and the Widow getting picked off as well in that fight. So now Neeb is free to reign and stand on the cart, actually. He does not care about standing in any cover. Going in here with the beat here for that sustain in the fight. Oh my gosh. They were trying to use a Diva Bomb there to be able to clear out and scare off the rest of Purdue Varsity, but it did not matter as Tootle went in with that blade that he charged earlier, the previous fight, and is able to pick off 2, as well as take out the Diva mech, with the Diva going down as well. The Venture being picked here for the stall and sustain and the movement, but going down real fast to Neeb. They're just not able to punish even a Widowmaker just standing on the cart. It's incredible.
Yeah, Purdue just so relentless, so strong. Every single individual member, they're strong as a team, they're strong as individuals. It's looking so difficult for Uno to find really anything. They taking those fights is difficult, taking those team fights is difficult.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of, I'm seeing some desperation swaps happen there. Towards the end there was the Moira swap, the Venture swap, obviously, understandably so. When the point is literally right there, about to be capped, third checkpoint, you often are swapping to all right, the Lucio, the Tracer, just to try and get those quick touches. Because, again, Varsity's main strategy here, I'm trying to understand this as coherently as possible, even though it's been incredibly chaotic, has just been, do not let them set up. Do not let them be coordinated. Because if they are, then they actually do pose a little bit of a threat. So let's just make sure it's chaotic. Let's just go, pick off one pick after the other. Doesn't even matter if it's on the point. Just keep going.
I believe I see Uno Black on Moira and Reinhardt and Cassidy.
It brings back memories.
Oh my goodness, yes.
As someone who played Moira on a team for years back in Overwatch 1, this brings back good memories. Moira is not a often picked hero anymore.
Ooh,
with
Alistair on
the current meta and the
Roadhog.
current state of things, and Alistair, decides, you think Wrecking Ball's a little bit silly? Let's get sillier.
Let's
We're pulling out the Roadhog.
You know what I really want to see here? I want to see Purdue Varsity hold the bridge, and I want to see them get as many environmental KOs they can get before,
boy, here
the
we go.
bridge even passes. But
Going here with the quick grapple pick, if possible. Not getting that, unfortunately. No, they're going to go in with the TP. Oh, we're seeing some classic TP plays here. Need getting the pick on the enemy Widowmaker here, and then the Lucio as well. And the Moira.
We just one after 4 in a row.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. CVG Neeb just relentless on that Widowmaker. He might have missed that first quick cheeky spawn pick, but no, he gets 4 after the fact, and he's able to just stand there in view of their spawn and then kill the Widow again. His presence is so relentless, it doesn't even matter that the Reinhardt on Uno Black is sitting in their back line. You know, Toodle pointing it out, probably calling out, being, hey guys, there's a Rein here. Hey, does someone want to deal with this? You know, successfully Toodle being able to get out with his life, thankfully, getting that little bit of peel, not getting pinned to the wall there, surprisingly. Astronaut, you know, still helping with this relentless push onto their spawn here. It feels almost like the game has been completely swapped around. You know, it feels like the attacking team's on defense and vice versa. You know, and that was probably a little bit too messy there. And, you know, probably they should have punished the Rein sooner than they were planning to.
I mean, if it works, right? It's been so difficult for Uno Black to find those fights, so just trying something silly, just, okay, Alistair.
1,000 effective HP. You know, I can just sit here and contest, and you can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter. You know, and if you look away, then someone like Astro or, you know, Neeb is going to pick you off. It doesn't matter.
Neeb, deadly accuracy, just taking kill after kill. I think I saw Neeb build that ultimate, and like, you know, it's a fast building ultimate, but I think I saw it online in like 40 seconds.
My gosh, the almost pure SMG kill there from Neeb. He's playing Widowmaker like he's playing Cassidy or Ashe here. It's crazy. Almost getting the Sombra there as well, but to no avail.
Getting a little too silly there.
It's getting very silly here. You know, there's some coherent power plays happening here and there, you know, with Uno Black is trying their absolute best here to play that classic TP strat that we saw way back in the day, you know, play off of that Symmetra there with the high charge beam to be able to take down that very high HP wrecking ball there that Alistair has been absolutely taking advantage of. Now going in here with the Symmetra wall, finally punishing Neeb. You know, they have that little bit of extra cover, so now they're able to play a little bit aggressive. They are just playing heroes on Uno Black side that can just shut you down the longer you play. They are absolutely doing their best to pull this together.
Oh my goodness, what a kill.
Alistair getting a pick there on the Moira, you know. Unfortunately, she can only do so much against a Wrecking Ball. Getting that pick there on Adcasta with the Shatter coming out there. You know, they're going to take anything that they can get. Alistair putting out those mines there as well to make sure they cannot get a coherent push now that some people were picked off on Varsity's side.
Yeah, I mean, relentless really is the word. Alistair was on 72 HP, still rolling around, still getting kills. I mean, Purdue Varsity does not want to give up a point, does not want to give up a fight, doesn't want to give up a death.
Neeb is, and they're just going to continue holding the space like they own the place, you know, despite even dying once or twice. Getting booped off of the map, you know, one of them's proving as a distraction for the other, like I said. And you thought the Wrecking Ball was a distraction? No, so is my Widowmaker. Getting boops here off of the map, you know, trying their best to make sure somebody's on the cart contesting. But what can a Moira do against a Wrecking Ball? There's only so much that can be done here. She's just desperately meleeing him, trying to get him off, but he can't. Eventually, they'll maybe go down. Nope. Overhealth.
It almost looks like a cat playing with a toy.
A little bit. And the Moira is able to take him down, though, since Alistair did kind of sacrifice his life to be able to get that stall, that very long and effective stall there with the team, with Uno Black being able to get onto the point here. They also have that coalescence there to be able to give them that little bit of sustain to be able to take this fight here, so they might be able to actually take this first checkpoint here. Unless someone touches. Alistair is back again. What will we do? He can't go down that easy. But they're not able to really get that touch here. And first checkpoint will go down with the coalescence being used as well to be able to finish off some people there.
I mean, yeah, the Purdue Varsity is definitely getting a little silly, sending a Wrecking Ball to just be a stationary paperweight on point, but,
I mean, it was into a Moira. What are you going to do, right? They stalled there at least for, like, I want to say, like, 15 to 20 seconds. maybe longer for all we know.
Yeah.
And Neeb also making the swap onto the Sombra, which is interesting. You know, they saw them pull out the Symmetra with the TP, the Reinhardt, the Sombra of their own. They know they're trying to take him down, so he just counter-swapped anyway. Adcast resisting the dive there made by the Symmetra. Neeb going in on the Moira as well in the backline. It seems like the two tanks are kind of having a conversation there, you know, with the Reinhardt expressing his grievances and Alistair saying, you know what, I'm done with you.
Alistair's been a very peaceful wrecking ball. We've seen a very pacifist game. But just sitting still, just like, yeah, you know, just like, I don't need to play fast.
Taking a ride there on one of the gondolas while you know, the fight's being a little bit reset there, having a good time. You know, the EMP, though, could prove dangerous here. Alistair, they're trying to get the boop off on the Rialto Bridge, but there are those walls there that are preventing the Rhine from going down here. Like I said, the ults are now coming up for Uno Black, EMP being in the back pocket here. Astronaut wanting to go in on that pick onto the Symmetra early and dying to Sombra because of it. You know, it seems like, you know, like we've been saying earlier, there's only so much silliness can get you. And it's been getting a lot, to be completely fair, but I mean, Uno Black is not about to let that fight go down, understandably so, using the mines as well to make sure that Purdue Varsity has enough time to regroup themselves in this. Using the EMP on just the Wrecking Ball, Alistair has proven to be such a menace that they wanted to make sure he goes down before his team comes back. You know, it seems like maybe they're taking a couple of tips from Purdue Varsity strategy and making sure they don't regroup here.
I mean, you can tell Uno is a little bit sick of Alistair's nonsense. Just
coming out with the EMP of their own here, Purdue Varsity, to get the Reinhardt, and he's just standing there desperately waiting for that health pack.
We're just waiting in line for the health pack to come back.
A little bit. And again, I understand that, you know, Alistair able to keep up the sustain once again while his team regroups there as the fight is coming to this last 5 seconds here. Uno Black using that Symmetra wall, which proved them very well last time on that checkpoint. The Reinhardt going down, though, even though he had Shatter, that was their only other ultimate. That's going to be a huge pick there for Purdue Varsity. Tootle, though, also going down, being the only ult from Purdue Varsity's side. The Symmetra now slowly getting beam charge here. That could potentially prove dangerous, especially for the Wrecking Ball. Able to hold sustain onto the point with the help of those turrets. You know, Alistair doing his best to maintain touch, but the Reinhardt was able to come back, and they did capture second checkpoint here. This game will be continuing, and Uno Black is not giving up.
I mean, winnable is the name of the game. We're here on the third point. I would not have expected that, but Uno Black has signs of life. If we can cap this point, we have chances.
For sure. No, I mean, I mad respect to them. They are not giving up, you know, considering how the past maps and rounds have gone. I feel like my mood would be definitely a little down, but they are absolutely not giving up, and kudos to them for that. The Reinhardt, they know for a fact, has that Shatter, and it does not mean anything. Unfortunately for them, they're able to get that Shatter onto the Genji, but the Genji coming up with the Blade. Tootle getting 3 after the fact.
I mean, yeah, despite the fact that Uno Black, you know, getting a lot of progress, admittedly, because Purdue Varsity is getting a little silly. As soon as they're like, okay, let's lock in a little, let's pop that Nano Blade and let's kill everyone.
Yep, they're keeping track of things. You know, they knew the Rhine had the Shatter, so they got the early hack onto him as well. Trying to make sure Alistair's, you know, a presence is well known, being punished. You know, they don't want him to just sit there for free anymore. The Coalescence there, trying to be used for the lifesteal and to be able to take down some of the squishies there, but leading to the Moira's demise. The sleep there from Adcasta, knowing the Sombra is there behind him. I was so sure he was going to go down there, but no, the awareness is still all there.
That was
for
so
Purdue Varsity.
Nasty.
The EMP coming out from Uno Black to be able to stop any attempts here on this point, but no.
What can you say?
What can you say? Purdue Varsity taking another 3-0, the end of this series.
I mean, 3-0 doesn't even describe what I just saw, I don't think. I mean, Purdue literally sending a Wrecking Ball to stand still and just take bullets on the point and just stare in the eyes of the Moira. I mean, I don't know. I really don't.
I'm a little bit speechless. I would like to apologize to the people watching for how much we have been in actual shock and awe.
It's been such a strange game even to commentate because it's not really been a normal series. It's not like normal is far from the word I would use to describe this. So,
you know, compared to, I mean, again, if you guys have watched previous series with us, whether it was Purdue Varsity or another team, I feel like when you go into a match, especially at this high caliber, you're expecting the generic, go front to back, take a quick fight, rinse, repeat. That was not what we watched.
No, I feel like even back to front isn't enough to describe it. I feel like it was side to side, left to right.
Side to side, collapse in, go all over the place.
Yeah, take them on a trip, take them on a ride.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And again, this is just like absolute kudos to both teams here, to Purdue Varsity to be able to put out such a strong showing. I was mentioning in the beginning how Purdue Varsity, as the season's going on, is putting out data of how they're sort of able to play.
So cool.
This match, anyone watching back this VOD right now, you can't predict them.
No, I think
you cannot predict them because they will pull out something like this if you think they're going to read them. That is the message that I think they're trying to send.
Yeah, at the start of the broadcast, you definitely brought up the idea of them being flexible. And I believe we have the next match, Friday, October 23rd, Purdue Varsity versus Purdue Gold.
Purdue Gold
Oh
next
my
week,
goodness.
guys.
You got to be there for that.
A good one. So yeah, that's going to be, that message that I said just got put out there. That's going to Purdue Gold as our next opponents, or as Varsity's next opponents, I should say.
How great would it be to see the first loss of Purdue Varsity V to their own Boilermaker brothers?
Oh my goodness, yeah. No, I don't remember Purdue Gold's record off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they've also been doing very well this season as well. So that'll be very, very fun to watch. Potentially another in-house, maybe even if we can get Purdue Gold in the building. That will be very, very fun. Technically our two top teams going head to head will be very fun. And yeah, no, just to continue my statement from earlier, Varsity just showed such a brilliant display of just chaos and randomness and their own just individual strengths. But again, I absolutely want to say good games to UNO, University of Nebraska, Omaha, for just, they did not let down. And I feel like that is so difficult to do, especially at this level of the game, that even when you go down one map, I feel like I've had this happen where you cannot, our varsity players are passing behind us as we speak. GG's, guys. But yeah, no, UNO did not let down either. At all, despite all the chaos. I feel like anyone would understandably completely be tilted, be giving up, but they didn't. Yeah. And so absolutely hats off to you guys. I hope that, they continue well in the rest of the series. And yeah.
Even when, Purdue wanted to get silly, we're going to use this as an opportunity to learn. We might be getting a little bit dominated, but we're still going to give it our all, and we're still going to apply, what we've practiced, and we're still going to see what we can take away from this. So hopefully those, that VOD review gives them something, and hopefully, despite it being such a loss, it's something I can take away. So, I believe with that we can start wrapping up here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like we said, next week, Friday, October 23rd or 24th, I believe.
23rd.
Another big in-house game of Purdue Varsity versus Purdue Gold. So, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I hope you guys will catch that with us. And yeah, any other parting words from you?
No, I believe that's all. I'll see you all, Boilermakers. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, see you guys. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Bye.